What's up, YouTube? It's Derek from Panther Magazine. Thanks for checking out the channel today. So I made a post on the Panther Magazine Facebook and Instagram accounts asking if ADTR was to offer you between a free 5-speed manual swap kit and a Supercharger kit, which kit would you choose? Considering they were free, which mod would you much rather prefer to have on your Panther if given the opportunity to upgrade your car for free with one of those two kits? So I have my pros and cons to each modification for each kit. I mean, both of them are pretty much modifications everybody would love to do to their Panther. I mean, I would love to have both of them. I have a friend in Philadelphia, Vinny, at Never Ending Car Project here on YouTube and Instagram, who has the 5-speed manual swap and the supercharger in his Crown Vic. I've got to sit in the car, not after the supercharge upgrade, but yeah, it's pretty cool that there's people out there that have both mods. And so this video, I'm pretty much gonna give my pros and cons. It's just my opinion. You know, everybody has their own opinion. And then followed by which kit I would choose out of the two. So I guess we can start with the 5-speed manual swap kit. If given for free, the pros and cons, excuse me, to that. In my opinion, the 5-speed manual swap that's the modification everybody wants to do to their Panther. I would love to do that to my Panther. My friend G, One Bad Panther, he has a video, a Panther interviews video here on the channel. When I met him, his car was manual, automatic. And now he's had the 5-speed swap for about a year, maybe almost 2. And it's pretty cool to see the difference, you know, sitting in the passenger seat of his car while he's shifting gears. And yeah, definitely check out that Panther interviews video. But the pros and cons, I mean, there's not that many cons. The cons I can come up with are pretty simple, not too intricate, I guess the word. Number one, I think one of the cons of having a 5-speed swap Panther, just knowing people like G who have a Panther that's 5-speed swapped. He lives in Philadelphia, so like he lives in the city, so it's like hard for him to find parking and stuff. And he tells me all the time that trying to drive 5-speed manual, especially a Panther, these big cars in the city, is terrible. He's stopping at every light, shifting gears. Unlike when he usually drives the car, he drives it in the country, the Poconos. He's in the woods, he's in the rural areas of the United States, where he can just lay on the gas and shift gears without having to stop at red lights and worry about traffic and stuff. So that's one of the cons. Even here where I live in Massachusetts, I live like 30 minutes out of Boston, but it's still considered Boston. So there's traffic pretty much getting to and from everywhere I need to go. And I just don't think having a 5-speed swap Panther would be desirable considering where I live. Maybe in a more country area, but I wouldn't want to stop at red lights and sit in traffic all day, you know, on the clutch and on the gears and stuff. That would kind of suck. But that's just my opinion. So that's one of them. Depending on where you live, I feel like a 5-speed swap really isn't the best mod, but I mean, driving your car is driving your car. So I know guys that have the 5-speed swap that don't even care about that kind of stuff. Next is the gas mileage. I can imagine sitting in traffic and on the clutch and shifting gears, you know, like G does in the city. I'm pretty sure the gas mileage has to go down just a little bit, maybe even a few cents. I mean, well, the few cents would go up, but I mean, you know what I mean. The gas mileage is probably not as good because, you know, you're on the gas, you're on the clutch, opposed to automatic when it's just sitting on the brake, you know. So that's another con that I can think of. I could be wrong with that, but gas mileage, I'm pretty sure is not good when you have a 5-speed manual swap Panther and you don't live in the right community for it or the right area.
And then lastly, the only other thing I can think of as a con for having a 5-speed manual swap Panther is the buying a transmission. I can only imagine trying to find a solid manual
transmission. I mean, that's not something you can really test out. I mean, you can go pick up a Panther from Marketplace and have them start it and drive it around the neighborhood to make sure it runs, but you can't really show up to someone's house and be like, hey, let's test the transmission, you know? So I'm pretty sure that's kind of a hassle unless you buy a brand new one. Yeah, you kind of have to go off people's words and instincts and trust that the transmission's good. I can only imagine how many people that's probably not on social media that have done this type of mod to a Panther and the
was bad as soon as they put the transmission in the car. And that probably sucks, you know. So those are my 3 cons to my 3 possible cons. I don't know because I haven't 5-speed swapped a Panther before. To why 5-speed swap wouldn't be a good idea, but I mean, as car guys, car girls, like who really cares at the end of the day, kind of, you know. That's why we do some of these mods, but those are my 3 cons on the 5-speed manual swap kit. And I guess the only pro, I mean, not the only pro, but I mean, turning a V8 4.6 automatic transmission into a manual transmission. These are big cars. They're not supposed to be manual, you know, so that's really cool that people are able to do that, and it's cool that, you know, platforms like ADTR have kits where you can do that.
It's one of the best mods to do to a Panther. Every Panther
to do it, so there's not too many
pros other than your 5-speed swap in the Panther. There's nothing really much else to say about it. Now next we have the Supercharger Kit, the supercharged upgrade, that modification. The cons to that are kind of similar to the 5-speed manual swap, in my opinion. It really depends on where you live, in my opinion. If you was to do that, I mean, I'd still do it no matter where I live. If I was to get any of these modification kits for free, I'd still do it. I wouldn't care, but you know, just thinking a little bit more deeply into it. If you live in a city or something, you know, you kind of don't want the supercharger, I guess. You know, you're sitting in traffic, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people crossing the street. But you know, in like country lands and the rural areas of America and the back roads like the Poconos and the mountains, I can imagine having a supercharger is amazing. Just lay on the gas and not have to worry about traffic or people, pedestrians. Um, and also the gas mileage too, but you know, that we already don't get that great of gas mileage on these Panthers. To an extent we do. So that's really my only cons. And I'm not the fastest driver. My friends can tell you that. We go to these Panther meets and we get on the highway and I'm trying to follow everybody and they're doing 80 and I'm still back there doing like 55. But I got the GPS, so I'll meet you guys there eventually. But I mean, a supercharger would be fun on an open highway late at night maybe, or you know, when I go down to the country and we're near the farms, you know, it would be cool then. I've actually got to drive a supercharger Grand Marquis last year, back in February. I hosted that big Panther meet in Queens with my friend Raul and my friend Vincent. Um, the video to that meet's on this channel as well. And my friend Javier Lopi 4.4 on Instagram, excuse me. He had a supercharged Crown Vic, and he was letting everybody, you know, burn out and you know pretty much send it through a parking lot. So that was really cool, especially considering my Grand Marquis is stock. So every time I think about that car, I'm like, it gives me the chills, kinda. Um, yeah, I mean, and then the pros to the supercharger, I mean, it's a supercharger. Nobody will be able to keep up with you. It's a fast car. It gives the car, I think, 300 plus, 400 plus horsepower. So I mean, yeah, who wouldn't want a supercharger? So out of the 2 modification upgrades that I just mentioned, if given for free, Chris from ADTR hit me up and was like, hey, we'll give you a 5-speed manual swap kit or a Supercharger Kit. You pick which one. I would definitely go with the Supercharger, just because I'm not even the best, to be honest. As a car guy, it's kind of embarrassing. You see the memes and stuff. I'm not the best at driving manual. I need practice, and I just feel like the way I drive and the type of person I am, um, a supercharged Grand Marquis will be sick. Um, I drive on the highway a lot, so that would be a good time for me to step on it and really see how fast the car goes. But yeah, I definitely have to go with Supercharger if it was up to me. I'd like to know what you guys would pick: the 5-speed manual swap or the Supercharged Kit. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.